currently executive director of Equal Justice for All People, a nonprofit organization that investigates wrongful convictions.
And also a lifetime Girl Scout.
Lifetime Girl Scout. There was so many things. It would take the entire meeting, Marty. Marty, I've been absent, everyone. My 98-year-old mother with Alzheimer's is with me. She's in the hospital. She was admitted yesterday. So I might have to leave early, but God is good. Dr. Pauline Crawford, your book has just blessed me immensely. I love you. It is wonderful.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you, Doris.
I have to recommend it to everyone.
Please
It is
do.
interesting. Yes.
And then I also want to introduce you to my friend Lucress, Pauline. I saw you pop in right after. I'm so excited. This is Dr.
She
Pauline
froze.
Crawford, also an amazing human who does so much. Just wrote a book. And again, if you want to introduce yourself to our guest speaker, Lucress.
Wonderful to meet you, Lucress. I've been reading about you, and I'm very excited to hear your presentation today.
It's very nice to meet you as well, Dr. Crawford and Doris. It's very nice to meet everyone.
I'm hoping that the internet connection is going to be stable. It keeps on telling me it's unstable, but we'll pray that it's going to stay stable.
I get the
Yeah.
same message, Pauline. I think the instability of the world is transferring itself to the internet.
I think you're right, Quanta. Yeah, I think so. There's too many arguments in the world. That's what's upsetting the climate. It's nothing to
They
do
were
with
just talking about that with the Wall Street Journal this morning about the level of consternation in the United States. The first time they've had a 40-year study and what those results are. Very interesting to see what Americans are into and the endless battles that people want to have with one another. It's really unnecessary. I was also studying some more about the division of the church between East and West and the differing points of view regarding the word son of God, and various different arguments to have battles between men who think they're in control of everything. So,
yeah, and they're in control of nothing.
They're in control of nothing.
Good morning, Stormy.
Hi, Stormy. Hi, Jean.
Good seeing you.
Yes, we're live,
Mine is
Patty. To answer
different.
your question. Yes. So I'm just want to open today.
I want to also say hi to Jean. And I said hi to everybody. And then Jean, I didn't get to say hi to.
Jean is my friend. Maybe I should introduce him.
He popped off for a second. He'll probably pop back on. I know we lost Istiak as well.
Yes.
Okay.
There she is. Yeah.
There's Jean. There's Istiak. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Hey, Isti. Hey, Jean. Well, let me just also mention how proud I am to see so many ladies here. Our district, 7680, is trailing Rotary. We're at about 22% women in our district with 2,200 some members. Our club is at about 64% women. I know people like Istiak and I and other men in our club are very proud of this statistic. In a world of DEI, where we're trying to be inclusive, we're very proud that our club is 57% people of different skin color, not counting white skin. So Hispanics, blacks, Black Americans, Black Africans, Black Jamaicans, blacks from all over the world. And we're very proud of our diversity. Rotary, as you know, as a whole, is at about 31% women on Earth, with 46,000 clubs and 1.4 million members. So we have been tremendously watched, and I believe that is what led the phone call to come in to feature our club in Rotary Magazine across the world in the printed issue. And so I did go through those questions with them. and it was very heavily focused on women, all of my answers. I think that the answers I gave were very surprising to the lady that interviewed me from Rotary International in Chicago. She was calling from the Ivory Tower. So we'll see whether it was too much to digest or just enough or not enough. With that, thinking about Marty may not have enough to offer, I would like to throw it over to President Crawford, and pleased to receive her guidance for this meeting.
My guidance for this morning here where I am. I want to share a story. My granddaughter is 13 now, but when she was 6, I was with her in England, and her mother asked me to go and read her a story, as you do with 5, 6-year-olds. I think that was about who she was, where she was. And I was quite tired, and she couldn't choose a book. So I said, what about this one? No, I don't want that one. And I said, what about this one? No, I don't want that one. She's quite a stubborn young little girl. After about 6 books rejected, I said, I was getting a little bit tense, and Georgie stood there, put her hand on her hips, and she said, you don't know what my life's about, and I don't know what your life's about. I was stunned. I was stunned that this 6-year-old could be so perceptive. And I just stayed calm, and I said, you're right. Whatever you want. And I can't remember what book we did read. But I reflect on that story when we come to look at faith, which I believe is what we're going to explore today with you, Lucress, that you have to have faith that when you don't know what somebody else's story, you still honor them and you love them, and you have faith that whatever their story is, there's something you can be in a prayerful, calm, serene, whatever space they need. But you don't need to fix them. You can offer solutions. So that's my message today, is to be in that space of wonder about what everybody else's life is about, but don't try and fix other people. Be in that faith of being a human being together. So thank you, Lucress, for bringing faith into our world this morning. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say, and to wishing everybody here online and across the world, wherever you are, that you stay in the resplendent understanding that whatever you're about is very precious to you. Thank you.
And thank you so much, incoming President Crawford. Over to President for the year of 2024 to 2025, Patty Frudenberg. Patty?
Well, first of all, I want to thank every single woman who has the courage to do everything that women do, because, as a woman, I'm going to say we do a lot. But with that being said, we need our men. We need our men. And I'm really grateful for the men who paved that road for us. I'm also very grateful that my special guest, I'm going to say my special guest because I got to meet her first, Lucress Irizarry, who's doing amazing work with her company, non-for-profit organization, rather, FIG, and she will be telling us more, and I'm excited to sit back and learn more about all the amazing work she's doing in the community and for so many people, and with that being said, I'm just feeling very grateful. So back to you, Marty.
Yeah, and Lucress, did you want to share your screen to have your PowerPoint presentation come up? On this particular system, it's a small rectangle down at the bottom with an arrow pointing up.
A window. So share a window.
Yes, share a window. That's perfect. And you'll have to actually click on that window. Yep, I see it right there. Beautiful.
You see it?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Faith leads to destiny. And thank you for the introduction, Patty, and also in part from Dr. Pauline. Welcome, Lucress.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm so honored and excited. I had a little nerves getting on, but I just love, because I just feel like I'm amongst kings and queens, and it's nice to be amongst the royalty of the Rotary and so many other great things going on in organizations. And I want to talk to you today about how faith leads to destiny. I am an empowerment relationship and business coach, and I'm going to talk to you about my journey. I'm going to share my journey with you about how faith pushed me toward my destiny. And so just want to go to the next slide. Who am I? I am Lucress. And as I was sharing with you all when we first met, my name means wealth, wisdom, and light. I am the founder and CEO of Faith in God Family Restoration Corporation. I'm also the CEO of Brightly You, and I'll be talking to you about both of those a little later in the presentation. I also have 20 years of healthcare leadership experience. And I'm a registered health information administrator. I'm certified in healthcare privacy and security. I also have a master's in health informatics. I'm a certified life coach and an Amazon bestselling author. But last and not least, I am first and foremost a daughter of God. And my entire life has been formed around my belief and my faith in God. My family handed down a legacy of faith. And so that is something that has been ingrained in me. It is my foundation, and it is how I live my life. And I don't know any other way to do it. It's actually the best way for me. And so I wanted to talk to you about FIG. So in particular, FIG began with hardship. So I don't know if you all remember, but back in 2008, there was that whole housing crisis, the bubble burst. People lost money in their retirement funds. There was joblessness and hopelessness as well. And I was caught up in that, me and my family. And, you know, we looked really rich in the previous tax returns, but we couldn't qualify for those public assistance programs because we were not poor enough on paper, if you will. We didn't meet the federal poverty level. When I say poor, we didn't meet that federal poverty level standard. And so we had to figure out a way to tap into resources, and it wasn't shared widely about the other assistance programs that were available for families who lost their job but were looking to find another way to support their families until they found another job. You know, it's that in between time. And so it was a difficult time for me and my family. And once we overcame that, we didn't want other families to ever experience something like that again. And so that's when we came together, because we were already a benevolent family. We decided to legitimize our giving. What I mean by that is when we tried to go to corporations to get donations to help others, once we got ourselves out of the situation that we were in, the corporations were like, well, no, you need to have a 501c3 designation from the IRS. And so we said, okay, we have to form this organization. And Faith in God Family Restoration Corporation was formed because of our faith and trust in God that He provides for all of our needs and pretty much most of our wants. It's been a pretty good life, I would say. And so just to tell you a little bit about who we are, I told you, a little bit about how we formed, but it was an act of faith in God combined with consistent work. So we had to work at this thing. And the part about faith is that oftentimes God will download an idea or give me something that He wants me to do, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to be bothered. And God's like, I created you and you're going to do what I tell you to do. These are the conversations I have with the Lord. I don't know what your conversations are, if they sound anything like that, but it's really a conversation with God, like I'm talking to my Father. And so God said, well, this is what I created you to do. And I need you to touch more people and impact more people. Now, I had it in my mind and I had my plans. to climb the corporate ladder. And at the time, I'll never forget it, I was interviewing for a position. It was for a VP position at a very reputable healthcare corporation. And I had interviewed, I think I had probably like 8 interviews. And we were down to the last interview. And I'll never forget, it was July 6th. My interview was July 7th, 2011. I got a call on the phone on July 6th, and they said, "Oh, well, the position's no longer available or open." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" I just knew I had it because there was never a position that I applied for that I did not get, because I was just that confident in my skill set and my experience. And I have gotten successful results before, so I knew I could achieve those same results for any position that I was interviewing for. And all I heard God say was, "I told you to form this nonprofit." Okay, Lord, I'm going to form the nonprofit. And so I sat down and I wrote for the 501c3. And literally, it was faith, the faith in God and the trust that I have in the Lord. He said, "I don't want you to go to any of these other resource places. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do and how to do it." And I ended up back then when they had bookstores, I ended up going to a Barnes and Noble and in the business section, and God told me exactly what books to get. And he said, "I want you to read these books and I want you to form the nonprofit according to how they tell you to form it." And so FIG was conceived within, I would say, 6 months. A lot of people were saying it took 5 years. It didn't take that long for me. God said, "Read it and write it." And I did just that. And we had our 501c3 designation and organizational documents by the end of 2011. I started, I think it was June. So that's how FIG was formed in a nutshell. And our mission is restoring communities one family at a time through giving. It was formed in 2011. As I said, it was 2011 where I was having these conversations with God, and ongoing conversations. And we believe that if we restore the families in the community, then the whole community will be restored. But if families don't have time to pay attention to what's going on in their community and they're constantly in a state of survival, then that's all they're going to be focused on. So it's really important to help them with their basic needs. And the way that we do our work is we provide for the basic needs of families. That would be food, clothing, shelter, assistance with shelter. And then, believe it or not, transportation is important because you have to have a way to get to work. And oftentimes transportation would be hindered, or trying to find a way to pay for transportation, whether it was on public transportation or helping them to find a vehicle. The second thing that we help with is financial education and planning. So oftentimes we would find that families didn't know how to budget. You know, school teaches you everything else except how to write a check and balance a checkbook, and to manage your money. And so a lot of these individuals that we were encountering did not know how to manage their money. Something as simple as paying $300 for a cable bill, but you're barely able to get nutritious food for your family. And so we would go over a pre-assessment, have them fill out a pre-assessment and review that with them to see where they could gain some more increase or better be better stewards over the finances that they were receiving. The other thing that we found is that we wanted to make sure that families knew how to stay united during hardship. Oftentimes, sadness will settle in, depression in some family members, and it's because the situation or the circumstance that happens in that particular time that they're going through, when they go through a rough patch, they are focusing on the fact that, oh my goodness, how are we going to get out of this, right? And so they're not focusing enough on each other. And so we created restoration workshops to show families how to have fun, even if they don't have the finances to take a trip abroad or to even take a trip to another state. enjoy the free things that are within your surrounding community. Those things like community centers and art museums and arboretums, state parks. There were different opportunities just around them in beautiful settings and environments that they can take themselves out of their current situation and actually give their mind a reprieve to enjoy nature, do a reset, find their peace so they can go back in and tackle the problem in the situation. And we make sure that they focus on love, trust, respect, and communication through activities. So we took them canoeing, we took them on nature walks, we took them, like I said, in an arboretum, and there was always a lesson associated with each of those activities that we did to help solidify the fact that it's important to just stay united. And then finally, we require that our families volunteer. It's important when they are receiving services at no cost to them that they pay it forward into their community, because that's how the community gets restored, through the families that we are restoring. And so it oftentimes our families would come back and they would volunteer with us, or they would pay it forward at a local community center or even at their child's school. But it was important to help them to understand that each one helps the other. So whenever they see someone else falling on hard times, they can show compassion toward them and benevolence. So on average, every year, we serve about 1,000 people, and we were recognized by the Pennsylvania Governor, Tom Wolf at the time. It's now, I think it's Dan Shapiro. And so there's 1,000 people that we serve on average throughout the year, because families need things throughout the year, not just at major events. And we have about 10,000 goods that we're giving out throughout the year in 6 major events. And the reason why we have those events is we call them Giving Hope to Family events. The reason why we have those is because that's a way for us to reach new families, so that we have our database of families that we serve on an ongoing basis who need it. And then oftentimes they'll not need the service anymore, but they refer families. But we also want to make sure that we are reaching people who don't know anything about us. So it's our form of outreach to different families. And we do that through partnering with community centers and council, city council, state reps, Senate, all of the political officials, because they understand their constituents and oftentimes what they need, and will collaborate to do events with them. Some of the impact stories of our families, for example, we provided something called a FAITH grant, and FAITH stands for Financial Aid in Times of Hardship. And that FAITH grant was applied toward a lien that was going against a property that a family had who had fallen on hard times. And it was a house that was actually inherited, and it needed a lot of repair. There were, the walls were exposed. It was freezing cold in the house at the time. There was a hole in the floor, and the family was huddled in one room around a electric heater. And all they needed was a little grant. And when I say a little grant, I think it was about $1,000 to start a payment plan so that they could tap into the resources that were available through the city to build up the house and make it more livable for the family. And that all of that happened. And the father, lost his life. The mom passed away, and it was just a whole bunch of things happening to a single mom of 3 children at the time. We also provided basic needs and resources to an aunt who took on her nephew who had autism, and he was having a hard time. He was misunderstood. He was pretty much nonverbal. And so she took that on, but she didn't have anything else to give him. And so we were able to help provide those resources for him and to help her and also her children. To make sure that they were stabilized, because that was a new introduction of something that kind of made the family unstable. And we also provided needs and services to a family of 5 who experienced a house fire. And believe it or not, there are a lot of people who don't have insurance. And so we stress getting insurance. It's so very important. You cannot live without it. You just can't, because you don't know what could happen or might happen. So it's always better to be prepared. And finally, we assisted a mother of 6 who had mental health issues. And I just wanted to give you a variety of the different types of families that we encounter and the different types of issues that they encounter. It's important to service the family and whatever it is that they need. Is, good to have a cookie cutter version to kind of touch everyone, but sometimes people need more a specialized approach, and that's what we focus on at FIG. And this is why we're the hope that helps. So this is why we call ourselves the hope that helps. We don't just give a handout, we give a hand up to families to take them from, striving and trying to survive and trying to make ends meet to thriving. And so it brings us to this point in my life, 10 years later, a whole decade. So it seems like it's every 10 years. There's another major life event, and I had to reflect on everything that I was doing. And those major life events, the first thing was, my dad died at the age of 66, and he died for the most part, in my eyes, a young man. I fully expected my father to live as long as his mother did. She lived until she was 91, at least. And I also turned 40 years old. Now, that's not anything major, but it was definitely a time of reflection that needed to happen, because I was pretty much, according to the life expectancy in the United States, pretty much at the midway point. And so I was looking at the fact that, oh my goodness, my dad passed away. This could possibly happen. I don't know when my maker, when God is going to take me home. Have I accomplished everything in my life that I set out to do? And I was thinking, yeah, I feel like everything is what it needs to be. But I also felt like there was something else that I needed to do. And so I heard the Lord say, pause. You need to sit and take a moment and pause. So God took me on a journey, and he pulled me back, almost like that 30,000 foot view where you see everything that has happened in your life so far. And you say, okay, Lord, what next? What next? And God said, no, it's not what next. It's what's now. And so I had to focus on my now at the time. He said, no, you're not going to the next. You're not ready for the next, because you need to grieve your father. You need to have this time to reflect on what you have done thus far until you have peace. Because at the time I was very unsettled. It was unexpected. My father passed away from a heart attack. And once I received that peace that surpasses all understanding, as the word says, then God said, all right, now you can pursue. And I said, okay, Lord, what new thing am I pursuing? I felt like I was pursuing enough. I'm working this full-time job. At the time, I finally did get employment. And I was running this nonprofit organization. I said, okay, Lord, what else is there? Because I have a lot going on. And the Lord said, do more. And I said, okay, God, more of what? And he said, all right, I'm going to need you to write a book. And I said, okay, I think I can do that. I write a book. Oh, sure. I can do, maybe it's, what are we going to do? Something on wisdom, something on, work-life balance. I could do that. I could do leadership, training. I think this is good. This is good. He said, no, I want you to write your pay. Huh? No. I don't want to write my pay. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to, it's embarrassing. No. And he said, yes, right. You were pain. So I ended up writing a book called Getting on My Last Nerve, 6 peace plan strategies to stop arguing and stay married, because the pain that I was going through and during that first decade, all while forming this nonprofit, all while experiencing the hardship of losing my job. And on top of that, uh, the banks were trying to take our house. That's another story for a different day. But there were all these things that were happening, and God said, write the pain of the fact that you were having issues communicating in your marriage. And I said, I don't want to, people don't want to hear about that. He says, surely they do. People need to stay together and stay connected in their marriage. Uh, they need to stay together for not only for each other, but also for their children, for their family, and the impact that they're supposed to have on other people around them as a couple. And so I wrote the book. And what this book did was uh, interesting. It brought me and my family together even closer, me and my husband. I was able to tap into learning how to be more respectful of my husband, um, because the word of God says, respect wives, respect your husbands, husbands, love your wives. And my husband loved me as Christ loved the church. Um, I had to ask my husband permission. Babe, is it okay to put this information in the book? Because it was about us. It was not about me. I'm very strong, very independent. I can do anything, that whole Rosita Riveter type spirit. But my husband's like, we're in this together. We are in a marriage. We are not two individuals living under the same roof or separately, but we are building something here. And so we need to grow together. And that's what was born out of this, all out of my faith pushing me toward my destiny, because I was having conversations with God. And this is what came out of those conversations through faith. And so this led into me forming my women's empowerment organization, Brightly You. And the reason being is because while I was helping those families in FIG, many of those women were single moms with their children. And it was because their relationship did not work out. And they started talking about how their relationship didn't work out. And I was helping them, I was coaching them through it to say, okay, I understand this one didn't work out, but if you plan on being in another relationship, here are some strategies and opportunities to help you to be a better communicator and to just be a better partner all around in your next relationship. And so I decided to do that as a coach in Brightly You. And we focus on elevating their mindset, empowering them to, take action and encouraging them to stick with it and move forward toward their goal. And so it also involves consulting, coaching, as well as consulting. And we help people to become the best and brightest version of themselves through wellness products, empowerment talks, education courses and books, entertainment, and business. So all of that led me up to this point, and then also to talk to you today. And finally, in closing, I just want to empower everyone to slow down. It makes me think of that Simon and Garfunkel song. I think it's by Simon and Garfunkel's "Slow Down, You Move Too Fast. You gotta make the morning last. Just kick around the cobblestones, looking for fun and feeling free." I like that song. So I just want you to keep in mind to slow down, smell the flowers, enjoy your now, and move in faith to meet up with your destiny. Thank you.
I'd like to say, I haven't got a question for you. I just want to say thank you for a wonderful, uplifting presentation, Lucrez. That was beautiful. And I think everybody needs uplifting. Maybe due to my message earlier, we do need to be safe, but I think being uplifted and engaged in joy is just amazing. And it's great to see you join the kill here, though. But I think I do believe there are signs out there that come to us from angels, from God, whatever it is we believe in. And sometimes we ignore them because we don't want to see them. But we have to be open to even the most difficult ones where you have to step into your own sense of faith in your destiny. So thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
I would like to add a little something to what Pauline just said, and thank you first of all, Lucrez. It was a beautiful presentation, and I just when I thought I knew you, just when I thought I knew you. But I do want to say, as a Rotarian, Lucrez, you passed the 4-way test. Is it true? Yes. Is it fair to all concerned? Yes. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Yes. And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Yes. But I do have a question for you, and I know this is going to be a big question because you've been doing this now for quite a while. But is there one? I know there's probably plenty, but one memorable milestone that really just always sticks out at the front end.
A milestone concerning what?
Well, I mean, your presentation was so beautiful, but more about FIG.
A milestone. There are many milestones with FIG. I mean, it started with, a handful of people. And then we helped 12 people. That was a milestone because that was a big deal, We're like, we helped 12 people. That was like in the very beginning. And it just grew from there. But connecting with the communities, a great milestone was, connecting with the principal of a school to be able to help, 600 children in that particular school. Just being able to grow the community and the network was a great milestone for us because you can't do things on an island, especially not with a nonprofit. Like your strength is in your numbers and the people who support it, and it needs to be able to stand on its own 2 feet and not just always depending upon one person to make it happen. And so that part was a major milestone for me because I have a team that I can say, hey, could you organize this event with this particular partner? Could you call this partner to see if we can get donations? Or I can just hand it off and say, we need to have this baby shower for the people in the moms in the community. Can you initiate this and get this started? And I can take my hands off of it. So I would say that's a major milestone, being able to take my hands off of it and have someone that I trust, or a team of people that I trust who can execute it to the level of excellence that would definitely meet and exceed my expectations.
And I thank you for that beautiful explanation. I really appreciate it. And I do want to, just because it was faith involved in this presentation, the number 12 is so significant, in our faith that we happen to share at the table, especially on this particular season. So thank you for starting off with that one. But beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I say hello? Good morning. Oh, good. Yeah, still morning. Good morning. I do apologize. Coming the last minute, I had a meeting, so I kind of wanted to be really listening to the presenter early on, but I wanted to thank you. I hear the last few very important items that you mentioned. And as someone who ascribes to the Islamic faith or Muslim faith, it is really intertwined. Faith and life in general. It's just for me, you just can't separate. Cannot separate you because we trust God, because we're here for uh, the purpose to serve Him. At least that's how I believe, and by serving Him, serving the humanity, we I get up every morning and go to bed at night knowing, oh, I'm I'm sorry, a phone came in. With you, a phone just cut me off. Can you guys hear me? Okay, okay. I have to decline that call in. That's a problem when you're using the phone. So I just wanted to say yes, it's a faith that's what's moving us and gives us the strength. I appreciate the last. Least I catch up. The last, the topic was very enlightening. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, this is all the world. Mhm.
You know, he is really an inspiration because, first of all, his injuries are from serving our country. I'm going to cry now. You know, his injuries are for our freedom. And he's so stoic about it. And he has gotten so many surgeries and still persevered, still showed up, still did his due diligence serving. He's just a giving tree, you know, he's a giving tree. So it's time for us to give back. And ironically, the fig just brought that to mind, you know, the fig tree, like Lucress's non-for-profit, it's the giving, it's the giving. So it's time that we give back. But his spirits are up, and he is looking forward to being at the, you know, at this convention, also the award ceremony, and we're planning to be there too. So I'm excited. What could I tell you? So let it be written, so let it be done.
Yeah. Um, I think it was very good. I know we only had two two men. We had Tiago from Sweden, who's actually Brazilian, and Marty. But I think it was a very lively conversation. I know we had several of you here on that. Uh, Patty and Ritu, you were there. Stormy, you were there. Um, I think it was timely and presented well, and we faced some of the issues. This is an ongoing issue in the world that women are marginalized, and as many of you know, um, I'm very focused on making this a much bigger effort of ours in the years as it comes to create a new narrative and the idea of a joint custody world. I actually presented at a phenomenal event last Sunday with the Nevada International Chamber of Commerce about the fact that we need to really understand each other as men and women, and women and women, and men, and situations across the world. So I think what we presented was excellent, and I would like to celebrate the fact that Marty is so good at presenting on live streams across the universe or the planet even. Thank you, Marty, for always doing that. That's really good. We're getting our message out. Well, we oh, really? That's good.
Thank you. I appreciate and I really enjoyed your presentation, Lucrez. It was really inspiring, and I thank you so much for coming here. Um, I wanted to make a kind request of being included in emails. Like I miss the DEI women, and because I'm not very WhatsApp person, and partially because it's kind of limited for me for my both of my attention and as well as my phone. I don't see everything, so it would be very nice if there is an email list where people are included and being made aware of these wonderful programs. And I'm really sorry that I missed that. And as you know, I serve on DEI facilitation both through Rotary Action Group for Peace, and as a matter of fact, I want to connect Dr. Pauline with Dr. Radell from California. So it would be, because that way we can exchange information, and so I can attend what we have in our club, and as well as inform them of what other things that I am doing, so they can be included as well. Thank you so much. Martha, I'm sorry, dear. I just looked in the spam, but it was received 11:20 a.m., which is after the program began. Oh, oh, okay.
I I did receive it.
Yeah, Let's
Yeah.
see.
I got it.
So, Martin, I did not receive, but I did receive at 11:20, as Quanta was saying. I received that, and I checked my spam, just wanted to make sure that everybody had the same experience. If it's going into spam, your email was not in spam because you're in my inbox. You're saved contact.
Exactly. I don't have it in spam either. So I'm not included in other email. No, I don't get it. No.
Same here. So probably it's the email distribution that the reminders were going out. They did not go out.
So we missed things. I'm sure they are getting it, but that doesn't mean that we are. So if she and I are not getting it, then there is a problem somewhere.
Okay. I just sharing my thoughts here. I have an email distribution system for my programs that we go through the list from our. So sometimes it's a decline list, and we look at those lists, and sometimes it's accepted, or sometimes it's undelivered. Undelivers are it's the email distribution system that audits. That is correct. Yes. 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 So it could be your email distribution or Rotary's email distribution, sorting those emails out based on whatever criteria, I have no clue. But I was sharing because I am seeing with my email distribution. The emails are correct. They are not in spam, but they never made it in inbox. Don't know.
It might be your calendar setting. It might be that simple, just a calendar setting, and you have to set notifications in your calendar. You might not have it enabled.
No, I do have mine on because I get notification for everything else.
Marty, it's also in the calendar now on the website. So if you go to the website and you go and hit, on the menu, you're going to see the calendar like up for upcoming. It's going to be right there. The hot link is right there on today's date. That is new, but that we are going to start filling that up with all our events if there's a link to them. So.
Thank you, Martin, for chipping in, and thanks, a lot of thanks for Ishtiaq. He left. On 25th, I had my major day, my major event. So I apologize. I wasn't really in a frame of mind on a Thursday. So yes. So that was as you're aware of, that her story from World Federation of Women. Uh, Women's Federation of World Peace Award was on uh, Saturday. So I was so focused, my mind was not in many places. So, um, yes, the banner, yes. Okay, no problem. It's teamwork. So, yes. Yes.
Thank you, Lucas. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Where is all the good news? Where's the helping hand? Where are all the smiles I used to see? They gotta be here somewhere. I think I'll take a look around. Maybe try to find some harmony. All the love we used to know, just too hard to find. Giving in to feelings of despair. World renews upside down. Fears replacing love. Because no one seems to care. There's a smile that says hello. Another says goodbye. One that promises I'm giving you my heart. I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are. One that keeps us close when we're apart. Talking from the darkness of all that we've been through. It seems that there might be a way to leave behind the loneliness we've known and live again life of alone. Another says goodbye, one that promises I'm giving you my heart. I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who we are, and one that keeps us close when we're apart. Maybe if it's hard, I'm thinking we can have conversations that end with let's agree. We may be a little closer than we think, finding our way home in harmony, finding our way to harmony, to the beauty and the joy of harmony.
Super happy to have had you here. Sorry about that if I had my microphone muted. Thank you for joining us once again here at the Rotary Club of Global Impact, and we look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks. Take care now.